Hello, everybody. We are the Wannabes Podcast, and thank you for joining us tonight for tonight's episode. I'm Morgan, that's Dreaded over there. Tonight, we are going to be diving into our thoughts of the director's cuts of the Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2. We're going to be discussing both films tonight. We've already reviewed them previously, not being the director's cut. So we're just going to kind of go off of what we already know about it, say what we like about the director's cut, what we don't like, and give it new ratings if if it's been warranted for a new rating from us or not. But we also are going to be diving into some, as we always do, some news. We got some really good industry news to discuss with everybody. But real quick, just a reminder to everybody, right now rewards are enabled on our channel, and until August 19th, if you purchase a subscription or gift a subscription, you guys will get 3 free months to Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, use that time to watch Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Great show. I recommend it big time.
Talked about a lot in the show.
I know. Some things we just constantly bring up because why the hell not?
It's great. Why not? But all right. Dreaded, I'll let you go ahead and lead us off with news if you don't mind.
Hey, Kitty.
Hello, Kitty.
So we're going to start with the 3 pieces of news that aren't linked to the massive Disney event, right? Actually, 4, should I say. So first off, let's return to not necessarily Deadpool news. So Deadpool's been out for some time now, and let's be real, everyone knows everything that's happened in it now because you'll see it everywhere now. But it is. I'm sorry, I'm just spoiling it for now at this point. So if you haven't actually watched it and you don't know shit, plug your ears. Get off this podcast for about 5 minutes, then come back. I'll say. All right. So Channing Tatum finally made his debut as Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a shocker. It was super awesome to finally see that Channing at last got to do that role, which that movie, like, he wanted to do his own solo movie for years. And it unfortunately was never produced despite him being casted, and maybe some scripts were written, who knows. But with Deadpool and Wolverine happening, he finally got his chance to be Gambit. And Gambit seems to be a pretty high vocal point of Deadpool and Wolverine, to the point that Channing Tatum has been talking to Marvel about potentially reviving that canceled film, actually. And according to him, it's up to Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, actually. Now, I bring this up because, well, 2 reasons. 1, Gambit was pretty damn cool in this movie, actually. And 2, I really would like him to do so because Channing is very passionate about doing it. So I'm just thinking to myself, well, just let him get that movie. He clearly wants it badly. So I say, yeah, guys, give him his own movie, especially if mutants are coming into the MCU. But what are your thoughts on that, Morgan?
Personally, I just want it to happen. I really had a good time with Channing Tatum in that role as Gambit. Ryan Reynolds has actually even came out and said, like, Channing Tatum was made for this role, and he was made to play Gambit and to finally be Gambit, and he was amazing on the screen and really embodied this character. So Ryan wants him to, thought he was a great pick for Gambit. So I say, why not? We loved it. It was a very beloved cameo. Gambit is, a really important character in the X-Men universe, especially if you watched X-Men 97. But it would be nice to see more of Gambit because, as Kitty just said in chat, Gambit was a character that many wished they did more with from the first time they ever showed him. So I think it would be nice to get more Gambit in the limelight, and also the mutants are here now. Like, we are getting mutants in the MCU, so I think it'd be great to have a Gambit and to further pursue and push that new storyline that is in the Marvel universe that's kind of just been dangled with us and hasn't really been continued.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully I say let him do his thing, because as history's kind of repeating itself, Ryan Reynolds has been very passionate about playing Deadpool in his own movie, and that eventually did come to fruition. So I say, with the power that Ryan seems to have in Hollywood, I'd say, hey, let Channing do his thing. Let him get his solo film, because I ain't gonna lie, like, I did watch the 97 the OG X-Men cartoon. Not a whole lot. But I will always say this, that I don't have the biggest knowledge of Gambit like that. I hate to say this. The most knowledge I have of Gambit actually comes from X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I actually did like him in that movie too. But seeing Channing finally pull this off with a comic accurate looking Gambit, I'm like, yeah, let him do it. But the biggest reason I say do it is because Channing really wants this to happen. So I'm like, let him do this. Actually, like he's been
Absolutely.
waiting years for this chance, and he finally got to do it, sort of, and let him get that movie finally. And shit, Marvel's got plenty of room for more shit to go down. So come on, y'all, let the man cook.
Save your face.
Exactly. Anyway, continuing on to some Marvel news, actually. So, who remembers Moon Knight?
Hails yeah, brother.
Yeah, Moon Knight definitely was one of my favorite projects that came out of the MCU in the more recent years, actually. And one question I've been saying is, so where's my season 2? When do I get another season? Why we keep making lame shit in the MCU? Where's Moon Knight? Well,
Facts.
Moon Knight is coming back.
Just when it
not
wasn't
in
supposed
Moon Knight
to.
season 2. Because according to Culture Crave, Oscar Isaac will reprise his role as Moon Knight for What If season 3. Actually, well, first of all, okay, they're making a season 3 of What If. I actually haven't even watched season 2 yet, but I gotta say, I'm happy and not happy at the exact same time.
Yeah. I really wish we could get a season 2 and really follow that Moon Knight storyline. Because I am concerned about how they're going to fit this character into the overall arching bit of the MCU. I think before they bring him into more things, I think we need to integrate this character more into the universe.
I would hopefully like to see them do a season 2 before they throw him into the movies, because
Agreed.
We saw in season 1 that Mark Spector and Stephen Grant came to terms with we're sharing the body, but they have no knowledge of Jake Lockley yet. So that's something that still needs to be tackled. And I wonder if they went with a season 2, would they get more into the kind of fucked up elements of Moon Knight, actually, because Moon Knight's kind of deranged.
Hell yeah, it is. That's why I love it. I love how dark it is. You know, mm-hmm. I really, really enjoy just the different feel and vibe that we get from Moon Knight compared to the rest of the MCU. I fucking love that shit. You know, I love how dark it is. It has this like overarching like doomsday kind of feel. Like shit's happening, things are going bad. These are gods that we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So it feels like there's a lot, not necessarily more at stake, but it feels like there's a lot more heaviness to it than we get in other MCU products.
Plus, I also like just the journey we go on with Mark and Steven as they come to terms with we exist in the same body, and just come to terms with the past of Mark Spector and why Stephen Grant's even here. And just, the trials that it comes with being both Moon Knight and someone suffering from DID. And isn't he part of the Midnight Suns along with Blade, Black Knight, and Ghost Rider? Yes, I think in a couple times he is part of it. Speaking of Ghost Rider, when do we get Ghost Rider back? And I seriously want Gabriel Luna back.
We might get him back. I know this isn't the one you want back, but I know that Ryan Reynolds wanted to bring back Nicolas Cage for Ghost Rider for Deadpool and Wolverine. So it is possible that we could eventually get a new Ghost Rider, or at least a Ghost Rider back. We'll see what happens. Wesley Snipes has already said he will not be playing Blade when Blade returns. He's too old for that shit. And
it's fine.
I think he could do it, but he knows his body better than I do. But either way, I think we will get these characters back. It's just a matter of how, when, where. So we'll see.
And plus with multiverse, hey, come on, y'all did Ghost Rider once in the MCU. Get Gabriel Luna back. Let's continue the story of Robbie Reyes, because I'm gonna be real, Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch might be some of the more famous Ghost Riders in comic, but I really like Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider. Even though his story is very different from the comics, I like Robbie Reyes a lot, actually. Plus, dude, Hell Charger. That is so badass.
That is pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Anyway, Again, okay, so moving on to more news regarding Marvel stuff. So we finally have not the biggest Spider-Verse update, but we do have a small update actually, where Karen Sony, voice of Spider-Man India, revealed that Beyond the Spider-Verse is now in deep production, and that he himself is going to start recording his lines in a few months actually. So I'm happy because, like, finally, a little update on like what's going on with Beyond the Spider-Verse, because I'm gonna be real. Like, I know I said let them cook, but I'm impatient because that's like that was my favorite movie of last year.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's still kind of like one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm like, come on, give me some. I want more Spider-Verse. I want more Spider-Verse. Take me beyond. Take me beyond. But I'm glad to hear that production is still moving along. So just gotta wait. But I'm just happy to hear at least some kind of update actually finally.
Yeah, we'll see what happens though. I'm excited to see what's going to come of it. What storylines it could open up. That honestly, that movie could lead to the storyline for season 2. Like there is possibilities of a season 2 after the movie. So we'll see what happens.
We will see. Season 2 of what?
Moon Knight.
Also, almost Spider-Verse.
Oh, y'all, I've been sick. That's the only answer I got.
It's okay, Howard. Take a breather. Breathe in, breathe out. There you go.
The congestion is fogging my brain, obviously.
That's fine.
Wow.
Moral of the story is I'm just happy we got a little update regarding Spider-Verse, actually. So now let's just wait to the next one.
That is super nice.
All right. Now, before we get into the big, I suppose, Disney event news, one last little thing, actually. Because I actually didn't know Morgan saw this, but the film Crawl. When did that movie come out? I cannot remember.
Oh, let me look it up.
Yeah. Breathing hurts.
2019.
It's okay. 2019 film Crawl, which was a film about a woman and her father trapped in a house with two alligators during a hurricane.
She was attempting to save her really stubborn-ass father, who wouldn't evacuate the hurricane area because he's stubborn as fuck.
He's from Florida. What did you expect?
Yeah. And then ends up having to try to survive the waters infested with an alligator. Well, technically multiple because it's Florida, but you know.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a second movie, which is in the work and will be set in New York City.
How and why?
I don't know. Why? That doesn't seem like a sequel-esque movie.
But, like, okay. We're in New York City. Is it from the zoo? Like,
maybe it's the sewer gator thing or something? I don't know.
But it's New York. Alligators can't live there year-round. Like,
I got nothing. I don't know why we do. I got nothing. I really don't know.
Like, I do really. I honestly, I saw Crawl at a drive-in movie theater where we were there for the first movie, and they always do it like a 2-movie feature. I was there for the first movie, and then the second movie on our screen was one Dan and I had already seen. And so we left his family, and we saw that Crawl was starting on another screen right by us, and we're like, it's the only other movie at this drive-in movie theater we have not seen. Let's switch lots. So we switched lots and watched Crawl instead. And we were like, you know what? I thought that was going to be shit, but it was better than we expected it to be. It wasn't an amazing film like Knock Your Socks Off, but like, I don't get why there's a second one being made.
And Sam Raimi's not even doing it, which is, I think,
that's
the reason
probably
why. Which is, I think, why anyone even like kind of paid attention. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. Other than the Spider-Man movies, and sort of Evil Dead, I'm not that big on Sam Raimi. I'm really not.
Yeah, it depends on the film for sure. You know,
I like the Spider-Man trilogy, of course. I give Evil Dead its props. Definitely.
I do like Oz the Great and the Powerful, though. He did do that one.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that. I wasn't a fan of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
No, that was a letdown.
Yeah, I think Sam's just kind of a hit or miss for me. I do respect him, but he's not really someone that I look at as like one of the like my favorite directors. Boo, I say boo. Hate me all you want, whatever. Yeah, this is going to be the podcast where I say I'm not a fan of Sam Raimi, but yet I do like Zack Snyder. Anyway,
I
Crawl 2 is happening, and I
know.
don't know why. Yeah, I said that. Bring on the heat. I want the smoke.
I'm trying to see if there's like any big Sam Raimi movies that I like.
That's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, that isn't specifically Spider-Man.
Hang on, let me. Actually, I'm curious. Let me look at
I
that
mean,
list.
I don't mind Evil Dead, like you were saying. Evil Dead's pretty decent.
Yeah, I give you this props.
He did do The Grudge in 2004. But sorry,
I don't see that.
he was a producer of.
Oh, I'm gonna say he
Yeah.
didn't direct that shit.
He didn't direct it, but he was a producer, so he had his hands in it.
Yes, I know he made Evil Dead. Whatever. Oh wait, I'll be damned. Oh, we were wrong. He didn't actually direct Crawl. The same dude who's doing the second one did. He just produced Crawl.
Yeah, he was a producer for Crawl.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. My bad. He also produced 65. Okay, that was let down.
However, he is not producing Crawl 2 because it's not in his upcoming stuff for IMDb.
Yeah, it's just I see.
So he'll have zero hands in it in the second one where he did in the first one.
Oh, shit. Because I just saw 65 and this made me think about it. Sorry, little tangent on news actually. But real quick, did you ever watch Jurassic World Chaos Theory?
Not the most recent season, no. I need to.
Yes.
Well, it's only one season so far.
Well, I haven't watched that season yet.
Oh, well. Okay, because I just remember there was the trailer for season 2, and it's like, hey, that reminds me of whatchamacallit. A scene from 65, actually. Okay, I don't remember if we ever talked about that.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, Jurassic World Chaos Theory season 2 is happening in October, and I'm excited.
Yes.
Anyway, so moving on to the, I guess the quote-unquote big stuff, like where a whole gag of news happened. So first, I want to start off with, let's talk about the first look, like the reveals of stuff that's happening. First of all, we've got Frozen 3.
Yay!
Let it die, let it die.
No!
I'm so sick of this damn franchise.
No, so I used to be that person, mainly because I worked in the movie theater when it came out. And so that put a bad taste for Frozen in my mouth, right? But, oh my lord, chat, y'all are wild with that comment. Holy shit.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy. But, honestly, I want this so bad, only because the first one, we get an evolution of Anna, like, basically Anna and Elsa's roles for each other. And within, like, finding out what are their capabilities, what are their means. And come to the second movie, to Frozen 2, you get the evolution of them not as siblings, but as them as individuals and as them as leaders. And then we get the separation where Anna actually becomes the queen of Rivendell, and Elsa becomes the leader of the Northern Folk tribe or whatever. I'm blanking on their name at the moment. And I would love to see a world where now, like, these two forces, these two people, if you will, these two, like, regions come together and work together. And I'm excited to see that. Elsa's power should be growing because of where she is and how she is. She's with the different spirits now as well for the different elements. So she should be in an area where she can train and evolve herself even further. And Anna is in an area where she can support her as a sister, but also as a fellow leader. And they can combine forces to fight other potential evils that come their way. And you kind of did see this growth of them becoming to, like, young adults to adulthood from the first to the second. And by the end, you're like, okay, they have a really steady, like, mature outlook now. I want to see, because you don't see Disney take their franchises to that next level. They usually keep them pretty kiddish, which is why I'm really excited with how Moana 2 looks. Is I'm excited to see them develop further into the adults that they are and they're becoming. That's why I want Frozen 3.
All right, you definitely had a lot more than I had to say. In the most
Also, so I can wreck Luke again in the fucking reviews.
I
Because
forgot you
I
guys review films.
owned him in our Frozen 2 review.
All right.
Dan's
Then.
also gonna. I just want to say, guys, Daniel, I'm sorry. I want to say this to you right now, sweetie, since you're in here.
Yeah.
The Frozen 3 coming out, you're gonna have me watching the Frozen movies so much again, and I'm sorry. I love you.
Lovely.
When I first got laid off, it was a lot of that on loop for him.
Oof. I'm so sorry, Dan.
It was COVID, and the second one it just came out not too earlier. Anyway.
Well, all right then. Well, since you brought it up, let's talk about Moana 2 new trailer, actually.
Yes. Oh, it looks so good.
Yes, it does. See, this is the one I'm excited for, too. I love Moana. I love Moana.
I know, you and
Moana.
I still want to have a discussion with you where we discuss, like, all the crazy fan theories of Moana.
I don't know if I remember hearing one in particular. I'm like, okay, that's dark.
Yes. There's plenty of dark ones.
I'm just gonna say it out loud. I'm thinking about the one where there's a theory that Maui might be responsible for Lilo and Nani's parents dying.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard that one.
I heard that long ago, and I remember. But oh man, this looks great. The adventure is awesome. She's got a little sister. That's adorable.
I know. When I saw, I was like, Daniel, does she have a sister? Like, I was super excited. That was not the mic breaking. That was my voice, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, the homie Maui is back. The freaking coconut things are back.
Yes.
What's those things called?
The Kakamora.
Kakamora.
Daniel, stop yelling. He's gaming, if you guys can't tell.
I'm here. I didn't even hear him.
He shows up on Streamlabs, so I assume that the chat can hear him.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, my favorite... Yes, the dumb chicken is back. Hey is back. And the pig...
So is the pig.
The pig finally makes it, which is... Oh, it starts with a P.
I can't remember either.
I'm blanking on it. But anyway, I love the character design and how they finally fucking aged the character. Mm-hmm. And they actually show her... Like, don't get me wrong. They did age Anna and Elsa. Especially Elsa. I felt like she looked more mature. But I think that was partially because of, like, their clothing and how they were dressing. They were dressing in more mature fashion. Where here, she hasn't changed her clothing at all. But she physically looks older. She sounds older. Also because the actress has aged. Like, I love that. And I love that I'm seeing this from Disney. Because like I just said, Disney doesn't really show a lot of evolution of age. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that we're seeing it. Finally.
Oh man, I was just so happy to see Moana.
I'm so happy. I also...
Animation looks fantastic too. The story seems very interesting as well too.
Seems super intriguing. I can't wait to see the spirit whale. And to find out more info about the spirit whale.
I love also that when it comes to like the idea of maturing, like we're literally seeing Moana not just be older and looking older, but like no, we're seeing her in the role of like, hey, I'm taking charge here a little bit actually.
Yeah,
here,
she's
so.
like she's not the chieftain per se.
But damn it, she got some authority.
She's basically she's the chief wayfinder though. Like I think it's sick. It's giving her that leadership role her father wanted her to take on, but also letting her be out on the sea like she's always wanted. And
she's taking that leadership role and following her passion. So it's like the best of both worlds for her and her dad.
100%.
So like it worked. It completely worked out actually.
And now she's using it to do what her ancestors used to do, is to connect her people to new islands and to new people, or to maybe people they once were connected to. I'm really excited for this. I'm happy Maui's returning. I'm curious to see what the big bad evil thing is going to be, because what I've gathered is this from the trailer itself. The ancestors want her to travel to this island, but this island seems shrouded. So I'm curious to see what is shrouding and what has kept people trapped on that island. Because that's where I've that's how I've summed up that info about that we got from the trailer. Is people are trapped there, or maybe not even know they're trapped. Right. And her ancestors are asking her to go liberate them.
Now, here's another thing I'm thinking about. Like, okay, but how are the songs going to be this time?
I know. I thought literally, yes.
I'll be real. Y'all know I hate musicals. I really don't. I mean, I really do. But I mean, in all honesty, there's only one song in that damn movie I don't like, actually. But everything else, I dig it. I like it a lot.
I literally use
Do you think?
music in that all the time. Like when everybody was like, "Oh, thank you," I usually almost always use the song "You're Welcome."
Hey, you think the actual best character Tamato will make a return?
Maybe
Maybe we'll get another. Maybe we'll
she
get
might.
another rendition of Shiny. That'd be great. I'd love that.
We'll see what happens. Like it very well could happen. They might need another artifact to lift the fog or the
Perhaps
shroud or
so.
whatever. So where else are we going to that ugly shiny bottom feeder?
Maybe this time I'll get his rematch and actually get his lick in this time.
Maybe.
But anyway, moral of the story is we're excited for Moana 2 and this Thanksgiving. It's coming out this November, so hell yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the announcement stuff. Actually, that doesn't necessarily have a trailer or even a look.
Sure.
So, I have mixed feelings about this next one. Incredibles 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I'm not against it, but why? Like, I get why we got Incredibles 2. I sort of do. Like, when I think about it, like, okay, maybe Incredibles could have just been that one-time thing, but like, I think a lot of people really did want a sequel to Incredibles, and we finally got it. And like, okay, I'm satisfied.
I think it just depends on what the story is. Like I'm not against getting an Incredibles 3, but I don't want to be getting an Incredibles 3 just to get an Incredibles 3 to make Disney money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's
I
true.
do want there to be a story and I want there to be a decent reason. I don't want some mediocre storyline for the Incredibles to come back because I'm not upset with where it's ended. We can fill in the dots of how they're continuing their life. They're fighting crime. They are being heroes for the world as a family. However, are we going to get into the aspect of like I would honestly, if we're getting an Incredibles 3, I want it I want there to be a time jump. I do not want Jack to be a baby anymore.
I was honestly thinking the same thing because one of my favorite YouTubers, Nostalgia Critic, always said that he wished Incredibles 2 was a time jump, actually.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm actually okay with Incredibles 2 not being a time jump, actually, because I like that we actually like.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that it wasn't a time skip, but part of me wanted it to be. But I think the third should be a time skip, in my opinion.
And when you actually do think about it, like, okay, maybe the time skip not being in 2 was a good thing because I'm gonna be honest, like, yeah, the family didn't actually learn Jack had powers, actually. They never actually saw him turn into everything he did when he was beating the hell out of Syndrome, actually. So, like, okay, they actually learned. They learned that he's got a lot of them, actually. And it's good to actually also see that, okay, supers are officially like, hey, you're back. We trust you again and everything. But I'd say, yeah, time shall be good. Mr. and Mrs. Incredible getting older, so the kids got to start living up to their... Yeah, that's a good story there. The kids have to live up to the parent name, actually. And then maybe Jack might struggle with how many damn powers he's got.
Yeah. He could kind of become like... How do I want to put this? I could see, like... I feel like Violet and... what's the other brother?
Dash,
thank you. I feel like Violet and Dash... at this point, like if we do a time skip and we do a third movie, they should both be really confident in their abilities, and then we get Jack a little bit older, you know, maybe like preteens, or I that would be a huge time jump though, but I wouldn't hate it. I would like to see an older Jack for sure. But I just want to kind of see that struggle of learning with his abilities, the siblings trying to help out but being completely not helpful whatsoever. And like even if we took a turn or like where Jack became like almost like the villain of the movie, but he's not the villain. It just kind of becomes like almost like that anti-hero for a while because of his internal struggles with his abilities. But then through like working with the like maybe with Edna and with the family, really is able to not necessarily master, but to understand and get a hold of his abilities to help his siblings and other, or potentially others, with whatever the big bad evil is.
I hope this time the big bad evil is not going to play off the idea of supers being gone or should stay gone or anything like that. Like, no, let's get a villain who's like, hey, we're like supers are back, but so are villains actually, and let's get something big, something bad. So I'm just gonna challenge maybe all supers are like, oh Jesus, this is a threat. This ain't somebody trying to mind control us to keep supers illegal or nothing like that. Or why am I blanking on what Syndrome wanted actually? Killing all the superheroes for he to pretend to be one, then no one would be super anymore, or nothing like that. Just violent significant. They're really a villain. That's actually not a bad idea. That's actually kind of fun.
Everyone wants to see more Edna. Everyone.
I actually want to see I want to see more of the other heroes in the Incredibles.
That's actually fair. That's fair. That wouldn't be a bad thing.
But yeah, Incredibles 3 is happening, so I guess I'm not against, but I'm not necessarily like, yes, more. Like, you know what? Okay, I'll take it. What else do we have? Oh, Morgan, you're definitely gonna like this one actually, because me and Luke have roasted you for a couple of years now about this. But one of your favorite films is coming back. We got Freakier Friday, yeah, and Lindsay and Jamie are returning for their roles.
I love this. I don't know how they're doing this, but I love it.
I suppose I like Freaky Friday, so like, you know what? When that happens, I'll watch it. But you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. I'm doing it for you. This one's for you.
Thanks.
You are welcome. But yeah, I really don't know what the plot is. They're just gonna switch bodies again and have fun, I suppose, again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what especially with like how like the time gap it has been since the first one to now, what stage of life Lindsay's character is going to be in, and to see how, you know, if they're gonna still play off of like, oh, the daughter and the mother, right? But is it going to be more like, I guess, how adult themed are we gonna make this? You know, is what I'm curious about.
I'd imagine. I mean, I'm not. Why do I get the
she's not a teenager anymore? Is what I'm getting at.
Why do I get the feeling that this sequel is going to kind of remind me of how the Hocus Pocus 2 sequel was done? Where they kind of play with the same premise, but just more modernized, I guess, and with more with age and stuff. Yeah. So, and like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because I actually liked Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah, that's true. And with what Kitty just said, the one picture they posted showed her almost mom-like, which that's what I want, is I do want Lindsay's character to be in a more mother role. If she isn't a mother, I would actually prefer her to be a mother. I think making grandma to become mom again would be fucking hilarious. And then she gets to spoil her own kids, but in grandma's body. I don't know. I think that'd be really funny.
What if one of the dilemmas they can do is the style of parenting, actually?
And that could be too, because that's something I've seen a lot from like how like my parents' generation, Dan's parents' generations and whatnot, how they've parented versus how now like, for example, Dan's sister's a mother, and seeing how our generations are parenting. That'd be a really interesting spin on it.
The twist: grandma, mom, and daughter all switch.
Sorry, Dan was asking for the charging cord.
No, you're good. But other than that, no trailer, no information, just it's happening, and I know you're definitely happy. So
yes.
I just thought that'd be something fun to bring up. Next thing we have is the first look at Toy Story 5, which I've already been critical of. Why are we doing this more? However, I will say this: the premise I'm hearing actually is a good one. I actually like the premise.
I haven't heard the premise. Give it to me. What is it?
It is the toys going up against electronics. Actually,
oh, you know, I did hear that.
That's a good premise.
I'm kind of okay with it.
I am too, because even I'm like, damn, these kids nowadays all playing with phones and tablets and shit like that. Like,
I was about to say those toys are not going to survive iPad kids.
No, they're not. They really are not. I'm like, what happened to the days where I went to school and me and my crew, we used to sneak in our wrestling toys to show each other and shit like that. Or we played with Bakugans at lunch. What happened to the days?
I mean, shoot, my girlfriends and I, when I was in elementary school, when I had Tamagotchis in school with me, and then also when Webkins became a big deal, we brought in our favorite, one or two of our Webkins stuffed animals.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's but yeah, that's a good premise. I like the premise. It actually makes sense. Like, hey, that's actually, I think there's a story, an interesting, heartfelt story to be told there. Actually,
Yeah, I could see it. It's almost like parents are like, go touch grass, right?
hmm
It's stop playing
exactly.
with your phone or your tablet. Go play with some toys.
I wonder if this premise might end up circling back to Toy Story 2 with Prospector's kind of thought process on being in a museum and being beloved for like generations and stuff like that. I wonder if that can somewhat
Maybe.
play a point. But okay, because I've been very critical because I never even saw Toy Story 4 and I still don't want to. But with this premise, I'm like, wait, this actually might. I can see this premise happening. I can
I
see.
I think like you're saying, I think this is a good premise because
Mhm.
it the films will no longer feel aged. They will feel like they have been modernized to how things are for today.
Exactly. More Bo Peep? Perhaps so. So I'm okay with that. Let me see. We also have our first look at live action Stitch for the live action Lilo and Stitch remake.
Oh, he looks so good. I'm so happy they did not Sonic him.
He looks good, but something still feels off.
Do we know? Is it the OG voice actor for him?
I think it's supposed to be.
I hope so.
But oh shit, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, well, live action. I don't know. He looks fine. Voice is fine, but something still feels a little off, and I think he needs to be a bit more blue. I think that's what it is. Cause I've seen a color correction that's like, boy, that actually low key looks better.
Mm.
But
You,
okay, Lilo and
that's
Stitch is
fair.
happening. We did get a look, a leak of what Stitch was gonna look like, and now this is the official look at him. Like, okay, there you go. Also, looking at this live action, how the hell is anyone gonna think this is a dog?
Yeah, right? I mean, I always question that even. I'm like, what the hell are people on thinking this thing's a dog? But I'm here for it. I'm so excited. I'm a big Lilo and Stitch girl, so can't wait. I literally have Stitch right there.
I
That's
see him.
Stitch's face.
I will still stand by that. Stitch is the most adorable thing in Disney history. So that's happening. All right. Well, next we have the official logo and title for James Cameron's Avatar 3. This one is going to be known as Avatar Fire and Ash. Now, we have talked about in the past that this third film is supposed to dive into another tribe of the Na'vi known as the Ash tribe, and they're supposed to be, I guess, the actual antagonist of this film, actually. So that explains that. Other than that, we don't know much. No story details. We just got the title, the logo. Logo looks really cool, actually. And also will be in theaters December of 2025. God damn, Avatar, you are the goated of late to the party movies. Like, you guys should have been coming out long, long ago, honestly.
You know what,
Seriously.
though? I agree with that. However, I am here to enjoy them now as much as I would have back then.
That is true. So, I'll still be catching these movies.
Hells yeah. I literally, you can't see it, so like back here past Dan is a window. You've seen it,
Mhm.
Dreaded, but I have a couple of my plants, and I literally have Intiri in
Yeah, I
like
remember.
Funko, like just chilling on the windowsill in with all my plants, so she looks like she's in her jungle.
So, we got our regular Avatar, then we had the water, now we got fire. If only we next do Avatar Sky People, then Avatar Earthbound, then boom, we've got it all done. And then somebody at
Technically,
Nickelodeon can sue.
couldn't the first Avatar be considered the Earth people?
Maybe so. Or Sky People. One of the two. They got to throw
You know, I could see them
Earth
being
and
considered the Sky
air
people because of
somewhere.
like the flying,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and because of like
I
what
don't
their
know.
mounts are.
Either way, James Cameron's getting a little close to Nickelodeon getting on his ass for some money. We'll see what happens.
I love
All
Avatar. I can't
right.
wait.
And now I'm about to get really fucking mad. Because now we have a new trailer for Mufasa, the Lion King.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not catch that. Shit.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Let me give you a little rundown. So the plot of this film is going to be Rafiki telling the story of Mufasa and Taka, who will eventually be known as Scar. to Kiara, the granddaughter of Mufasa and the daughter of Simba and Nala, right? Along with Timon and Pumbaa giving some commentary. But why am I mad? Well, not only because this is happening, because I hated the live-action Lion King in 2019. So you're telling me the story is Mufasa was an orphan who was befriended by Scar, and was adopted by his family, and they became close as brothers, and Mufasa got the throne? The adopted motherfucking lion gets the throne? And Scar gets drafted?
Okay, listen to me, though. Listen to me. I only say this because, obviously, Scar or what was it, Takaka? Taka, okay. Taka obviously must have been a fucking shithead. Must have been a piece of shit.
Nope. This trailer shows Taka was the one who advocated for him to get adopted. He saved Mufasa. He was not a piece of shit. Taka, Scar, was freaking Jesus, pretty much, I guess you could say. He saw Mufasa drifting on some wood. He convinced his family, hey, he needs our help. He's my brother now. Save him. No, Scar was not a piece of shit, according to this trailer. Unless he might become one somehow.
I was going to say he might become one. That was when they first got him, but then jealousy's in... Like, they adopt him, he starts getting treated well, and then unlocks Taka's unexpected jealous side.
Yeah, after this... Exactly, Kitty! Exactly! You're telling me Mufasa, the adopted boy, got the throne? I cannot believe I'm saying this. No, I am not surprised I'm saying this, because live action the remakes tend to ruin a lot of shit a lot of the time. This has officially ruined Scar. No, not officially, because OG Scar is still goated. He's still right. But of course, these new movies now have to give Scar a reason why he wants to be all evil and mean to Mufasa and shit like that. And not only that, they ruined Mufasa because Mufasa was the fucking goat. He might have been a lion who ate goats, but he was the goat. And now you're telling me his death was earned? You're telling me I'm not... You know what? This is remake Mufasa, because remake Mufasa was not it. Those line deliveries are terrible, and I did not like them.
I know.
But OG Mufasa was goated. So fuck these movies. Now, mini review. Lion King 2019 went from a 3 to a motherfucking 1 because you ruined my two favorite characters. Two of my favorite characters. Are you kidding me? How could you ruin both Scar and Mufasa at the same time? I liked Scar because he was evil. And now you're telling me he had a reason to be evil. Mufasa stole the throne. And accordingly, if you remember the Lion King 2019, he done stole Sarabi too. Why are you giving Scar reason? Why are you giving him reason? Let that man just be evil. Stop making so many reasons. And why did you ruin Mufasa?
He already had reason. In the animated one, he always said,
was supposed to be king until the little hairball was born.
Yeah. He always said I was supposed to be... I was always supposed to be king. He never... he's like... It wasn't ever necessarily because Mufasa made him Scar's heir until he had a child. That's how hierarchy works. So, if you are siblings, and your brother is king... If you were to die before you have an heir, in old school shit, usually that would be a son. The brother would become the king if the king dies, right? So his whole thought was like, I'm gonna kill Mufasa and become king. But then the hairball shows up, the little hairball, Simba. And what I'm thinking of is he's always thought this way because Mufasa took the throne from him. He was the rightful heir. But the kings can't choose who their heirs are. They can remove someone from... I've been binging Game of Thrones, so all of the heir talk, by the way, is like right here in my brain. But in my opinion, that could have been like the creator's OG storyline for Scar that's never been spoken. I'm not saying it is. I want to say that right now. But it doesn't necessarily... It doesn't not make sense to me.
But it makes it worse because that motherfucker was not even his real brother as well. And not to mention, this also goes into
adopted brother, bastard brothers. You know, like it can work. And I think the storyline they're going to be going with adopting Mufasa and then making the adopted son the heir is because he comes from kind of like the trope of like, oh, the person who had it the worst, like this gentle soul, if you will, gentle and stoic soul ends up knowing what hardship is and can help look after the people better than someone who has only ever had life given to him. And so I think maybe that could be the storyline that they go with, why Mufasa gets chosen over Scar. But I feel like there has to be some sort of switch in Scar or Taka. There has to be something that creates more of a reason for Mufasa to be a potential better ruler than he is.
Still not happy about it.
I don't consider this remaking of the storyline, as I see we're getting the storyline we've never heard before.
Damn.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm still not happy about this. I'm really not. I was about to say, you know what, Scar? Maybe you were gonna kill Mufasa the whole time. Who knows? But don't get all mad that Mufasa, went and had a kid and stuff like that. Because you've seen that lion. That is a handsome lion. Did you see his mane? You telling me lioness weren't lining up for him? Like, come on, Mufasa. Come get this ass, Mufasa. Come on. Brrr. Come get this ass. Come get this lion cat ass. Come on, Scar. You smarter than that. You know lioness was waiting to get some of that Mufasa. You know what? I don't want to talk about this no more. I'm not watching that movie. I'm not watching that. You know what? I'm gonna do the same thing I do every time I say that.
I feel like that'd be such a good episode for us.
Yep, you beat me by 1 second. If the podcast wants to do the fucking episode, I'll watch the damn movie. But I shit you not, MJR, $5, and I'm going to strangle all of you while I watch it. Understand?
I mean, that's literally going to be me Tuesday with Borderlands, because I don't want to give Borderlands more money than it deserves.
Dude, you can't say that right now. Kitty's right there. Anyway, last bit of news, and it relates to Zack Snyder. Actually, this is why I saved it for last.
Okay.
Netflix has reportedly shelved all of Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead franchise. So any sequels or animated series that they were planning on doing, looks like it ain't happening no more.
Really? Wow.
Yep. Interesting. And I wonder is because maybe Army of the Dead has not had like the popularity that it was wanted to have, or maybe because Rebel Moon is here. Who knows, actually. But actually, that does actually make me think, oh yeah, we never considered Army of the Dead. We completely kind of forgot about it. And then like, oh, Zack's just on the Rebel Moon now, actually, and he wants to start building this up. So I'm like, hey, do you think Rebel Moon? This is his answer, like, oh, I can't do that. So now I'm gonna try this. Oh, maybe this one works.
I wonder if that's because too, with like Rebel Moon Part 3, we still don't have an announcement of when it's gonna be released. Zack Snyder has confirmed that Rebel Moon Part 3 is in the works. But if you think about it, Part 1 and Part 2's releases were only 4 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't have as of literally this month, we still don't have an announcement for Part 3. So I wonder if that's why.
Perhaps so. Who knows?
However, early, like August 6th, I think it was, Snyder has indicated that he plans to work on another project before returning to the Rebel Moon universe. But maybe he's not now?
Well, who knows?
Maybe that other project would have been one of these films, and maybe he's shelving them for that reason.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just see where things go, I suppose. But I thought that was interesting to think about, considering what we're going to be talking about today. Oh, hey, Luke! You're here! You motherfucker!
He's upset with you.
I'm also just upset because I had a bad day.
He had a bad day at work since he cut himself.
I had a bad day at work. Somebody was being an ass. I couldn't get my Chinese food, and Mufasa is now not goated. Also, I kind of miss my wife right now as well. You know what?
They're there.
Yeah. You know what? That's all the news we have. Let's just calm down and let's talk about the director's cut of both Rebel Moon films.
Yes. So, I'm gonna just put it out there right now. That way it just reminds us, reminds the chat. For our ratings for the previous films, I went back and found our ratings for us. So for part 1, Dreaded, you rated it 6.5. I rated it a 7. And these are all out of 10, everybody. And then for part 2, you and I both rated it a 6.
Okay.
So
both these films have been somewhat in the same boat of both our opinion and just ranking, I suppose. Leisha has COVID. Oof, I guess that's true as well.
yeah, Tyler and I both have COVID right now, and Dan.
Oh, that's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Dan's grandma got it, and we got it. And then we gave it to Tyler because we're assholes. Not really. We just didn't know.
What?
We didn't know that we got exposed. And neither did she.
Wait a minute.
No, it was after.
After Twisters?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
You were safe. We saw Tyler again later that week.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a minute. y'all hold Tyler. First, he had his gums digged into, and now y'all gave him COVID. What the hell? That is. Oh.
I know.
All right.
It's been a week, okay? I posted Saturday that I wasn't feeling well.
All right. Well, I hope you guys hopefully get even more better, I suppose.
Oh yeah, Dan's almost back to normal. I'm doing a lot better today than I was previously, so just a little congested. It's mainly the cough that's killing me now because I have, whenever I get sick, COVID or not, I have a cough that lasts forever. But anyway,
I got you. Alrighty then.
That's a boring conversation.
So we have reviewed. We're not going to talk about box office or nothing like that because I don't think there's really any news on the director's cut. Actually,
not really. The only thing is just the run times.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, part 1 was 134 minutes. Director's cut was 204 minutes. Ended up being just under 3.5 hours for the part 1. And then part 2 ended up being just under 3 hours. So it went from 122 minutes for part 2 to 173 minutes. Their budgets are 166 million, but this is shared between both part 1 and part 2 because they filmed them at the same time.
Yeah, that has not changed at all, actually, either. So, just I'm trying to decide where do we start, I suppose. Well, since we remember our ratings, I feel like, funny enough, we've been very critical of these films as we should, but we're also somehow the biggest fans of them because I do not hear a lot of people talk any, good about these movies.
Rob really likes these films, and Rob and I like these films for the same reason, because they remind me of a D&D campaign.
Oh, okay.
Even more so now that we've gotten the director's cuts.
For me, I like Zack. Zack has his work here, can be hit or miss and stuff, but I like his visual style. I think the film is honestly simple, just kind of in a different skin, and that's actually not a bad thing. Action is fun. Characters were, when we initially reviewed the film, characters were I suppose okay,
but a little bland. They didn't get as much development or meat and potatoes that we wanted them to have, for sure. I still feel that way, but I do think we get more from the characters than we did without it being the director's cut.
Yes, that is true.
I do wish we still got even more.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I also ended up, while I was watching both films, have a list of all the differences actually between those two films actually. And I actually want to start with part 1 because part 1 started out strong with a 19-minute extended look at the Motherworld being assholes.
So I just want to say about that too, by the way. I started watching the first one with Dan. He's not as big of a Rebel Moon fan as I am. And I'm not even a massive Rebel Moon fan. But he even said, only a couple minutes in, he was like, okay, this is already a better movie. He's like, this is a way better tone. And I agree.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking oh, okay. We started off strong. I was into it.
I liked the intensity we got right off the rip.
Yeah, I like seeing we're really getting a good look at the evil of the Motherworld from murdering people, branding priestess. Wait, what were they? Or I forgot exactly.
I can't remember either.
I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, and shit like that, right? But it was, and not to mention too, it was a backstory to a character that honestly did not have a lot of time in the OG film. I was like, 100%. Oh, okay, because when I was watching, I feel like, oh, this is who this is. Okay, I didn't know that initially, right? So I like that.
I like getting more for Ed, for Skirin specifically, because as him being the bad guy, like we do get a little bit about him, but we really just know that he's a fucking asshole who loves brutality. We don't really get a lot more of him. And one thing I really liked about this opening sequence is we also get to see him we get to learn why he even has that like club thing. Mm-hmm. I'm blanking on what it's called.
It was the fucking holy staff or something like that.
Yeah, but it was really interesting to see. They kind of helped connect the dots, and not even dots on things that really mattered or that I questioned too much. But I was like, I really like knowing this additional info about that now.
So, oh shit, what was I about to say? I don't know. It also makes me think of you played God of War before, like the OGs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the choice he gives, I think his name was Ares. In the beginning, literally reminds me of what Ares did to Kratos, and the reason why Kratos killed his OG family is like, hey, I'm doing this so I'll sever your ties to like the mortal realm, and you'll become the greatest warrior. I'm like, I'm kind of getting that vibe from this dude right now, and that's going to be your downfall, unfortunately. But oh man, what an asshole and what an opening! Also, I wrote this down too. Those Prius dudes who like take a piece of teeth and add it to that picture of the princess. I'm like, holy shit, those guys are cool.
So and we saw them throughout the movies, but they never did anything.
Yeah, they were just kind of there. Now, like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And I know I've been calling Jimmy Zenyatta, but I shit you not, I thought these guys looked like one of the Reaper skins, actually.
Oh my god.
I swear Zack was playing Overwatch when he got the idea from Sodas. He had to have been.
That's funny as fuck.
But yeah, that extended intro was really awesome, actually.
I know. Go ahead, sorry.
Another thing that's added is much more graphic violence, actually. A lot of digital blood, but
both
still.
Of these, so the originals, part 1 and 2, original, not directors, are PG-13. Both director's cuts are rated R.
Yep. So more graphic violence, more nudity, because
hell a lot more nudity. All of the nudity.
The beginning was like, okay, this is just brutality, seeing them brand like these, like as priest is like naked and stuff like that. But tell me why both film we had to watch Korra get her fuck on twice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like,
I'm gonna be honest though, I
don't know if I wanted to.
I liked seeing. This is a weird way to word it. I don't have a better way to word it. I liked seeing her naked only because of being able to see the scarring and be able to see like how she's been impacted more than just emotionally, but she also has been physically.
Yeah,
I thought that was a super nice touch to see.
So I'll give it that, but I'm like, I gotta watch this twice. Yeah, both films. Watch Korra getting her fuck on. Like, good for you, I suppose. But like,
you can rate which one's better over the other for sure from performance.
I didn't even think about that. Oh man. So I mean, I guess we're just gonna go through everything that's different and give our opinion on it, as well as like I guess talk about how it all impacts as a whole. Because not only after of course getting her fuck on to more graphic violence, we also eventually would get an extended look at Korra's backstory actually too. Because I went and looked like, okay, this is a little longer, actually, considering what her home planet went through and what she went through when she was working with the Mother World, including our first look at the giant robot lady.
So,
I want to save that. I want to save the actual talk about her when we get to like the second movie.
Oh wait.
Okay, because I was gonna say, oh, well, should we talk about it now? Fuck. Because I was trying to go in order of a lot of stuff. Actually,
I'm gonna go and say this right now.
Okay.
Because I have more to say in it, and I will say about that even more so when we get further down to the second movie, in that spot in the second movie. Sorry, Owen's throwing stuff off the desk behind me, and I'm like, what was happening? So, what I love about the engines, the robot ladies, if you will, that we see on the Dreadnought, I love that there is more of a connection, and we see it in the the flashback of like Korra's backstory of her with this creature, just kind of like being like, oh, this woman, this creature also feels out of place, and like she has sadness, but even though she's being wronged, she still gives me empathy, and it helps, I think, explain kind of like that emotional reaction we get in the second film better.
Yeah, that's true.
And not even talking about that because that scene is changed in the second film, and we will talk about that when we get to it, since we're going in order. But for me, just watching that, I was being like, oh, I already like the feel of this for how it's going to feel when I see that scene in part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was really emotional when putting the bombs and planting the bombs on the engine, which is these women looking
like giants.
And they also gave the giants more like actual like not necessarily a persona, but like intelligence. Like they made them actual beings rather than it just looking like a really cool robotic thing, where I don't think we really got the feel of that in the originals.
Yeah, I'm real in the original. I don't even remember seeing it. I mean, maybe we did. But I'm like,
we did. We didn't
okay,
see it. We didn't see it crying like the particles that it cries. We didn't see its eyes ever open. Another thing, because it's in this backstory bit, we see this part, I think, briefly. I don't know how detailed it was though, because I haven't gone back and rewatched it, the original backstory bit. But we get a part where she's looking at a painting of like the heroine, and you see like these Titan-looking people be like, and I was like, those look like they're the size of what's probably the engine, and I really liked getting that tie to it.
I actually have this written down too because of the first Princess Issa myth, actually, because it was like a whole ass story about who Princess Issa is. I'm like, okay, another look into her power and what she's meant to be and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, if Zack wants to make more of these, this could go into future entries on expanding the lore of that. So we have new Zenyatta scenes, and you said in the group chat you were super happy about that. I like actually watching him become his own person rather than he was gone the whole movie
and then all of a sudden, and then showed up.
Antlers on. Exactly.
Yeah. So like, I said in my previous reviews, Jimmy, or who ends up being called James eventually, is one of the most intriguing characters for me, even right off the rip from the trailer. I was immediately intrigued by this robotic being. And I'm so thrilled, because I remember one of my downsides to part 1 was, where the fuck did Robot go? Like, you gave me this really cool character and then threw him to the fucking woods. Like, I never saw him again. I was really disappointed in that. I thought it was poor use of a really interesting character. And I'm happy that even though we didn't get as much Jimmy as I wanted, I love that what we got and that we got more. Because it made me not feel like, okay, he just effed off and is doing nothing.
I like that he was also helping the village from the background as well, too.
Yes.
Like the scene, there's a new scene of them like getting Korra's ship before she came back in the second film, actually. And also, I want to bring up too,
which we did kind of get that in the original, but it wasn't as long, and you didn't get to see it. We didn't actually see him do it. It was just kind of, oh, Jimmy must have done it. Because you never got that interaction scene, and I prefer. And part of me, I'm like, why did you ever cut these out? Like, there's a few things that I'm like, I felt like that would have been really important to keep this scene in. Maybe not for the overarching story, but just to help connect the dots and not make it feel like you're just like, and just to evade a plot hole. Whoop! Here's this. This is the reason.
Oh well.
It felt that like that specific scene helped it feel more cohesive.
What was I going to say, Nick? Also, this was the beginning of watching Aerith and Sam, the farm girl, begin their bond.
Yes.
Which, it was adorable.
It was super cute.
Which I'm going to get more into it in the second movie.
I
like seeing the beginning of it.
I never really questioned too much of, like you see right off the rip when they first see each other, like this, from Aerith, this immediate infatuation with her, right?
And that he was very against watching her be assaulted by his
exactly.
comrade.
So I never really questioned the eventual budding romancing that it gets in the second, but I do like the little nuances of having a little bit more development for them.
Yeah, it's because honestly, relationships always you should at least see development instead of just kind of feel like hey, it's
Right.
here now. Like even in the original ones, yeah, you see it, but I like that we got more scenes with it actually.
For sure.
I was gonna say, okay, now I'm gonna start. See, Jimmy's your favorite character. Let me start talking about my favorite character, Tarek.
Okay.
Because
Tarek is
course,
immediately my second favorite, though. Man's gorgeous.
yeah, he really is. Too bad it's not his real hair though. But still, favorite character because of course I noticed every little detail that was new with his introduction scene. So there's some couple of new clips, some new dialogue, and also the Bennu, that's I think was called, or the Bennu, escapes with him actually. I like that they added that. I like that they both escape.
love that too. Like we already knew that like she escaped because you do see her kill the guy.
Yep. And I like that it's more graphic, and you saw that she probably ripped that dude apart.
Yeah, you see her rip him apart, and then you see her flying with both his pieces of bodies in the air. Like, I liked it. It wasn't, like, massive changes for this section, for, like, this area, but I liked the enhancement that this part got. Because that's one of my favorite mini arcs of the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Also, actually, moving on to the next thing. Oh, see, this is why I'm mad Luke ain't here. Luke, are you in chat? Because you guys got your tentacles. You got some more hentai.
I was right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that was a thing. You know, I kind of find it interesting what sadistic evil people like to do in their spare time, and I guess that's his. He likes to get mouth-tongued by hentai tentacles.
I don't think that was just mouth-tonguing.
Probably not, but that's what we saw, so that's what I'm going to go with. Anyway, moving on. I like that the character Nemesis gets an extended introduction too, because initially we show up on her planet and she just goes to fight the spider lady, but I like that they find her, they say like, hey, this is why we're here and we need you for this, and she's like, okay, maybe I'll do it, but y'all gotta let me handle this first actually.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about also that battle is when she cuts open the belly, we didn't get to see all the baby spiders initially.
Yeah, that I also noticed that as well, but I didn't write that down. But I remember that as well.
I liked that touch. And like the baby spider definitely like looking like sad for its mother. Like I don't know, it's my heart. But they probably did that for the arachnophobes. Kidding.
Anyway. There was also a new scene of Korra and the King together, actually. I think talking about Issa. So that was new. And also, we got a new introduction to General Titus's planet, where we see a little more look into the arena, the gladiator pit that he was supposedly be fighting in, actually. So I enjoyed those new scenes. Just a little more depth of like their search. And other than that, afterwards, the movie doesn't change that much, other than maybe a couple of new character interactions, actually.
Yeah, a couple new character interactions, maybe even just like a couple more like shots, but not really anything that impacts it. Maybe just impacts the visual and the runtime a little bit, but nothing that impacts the story and how it's being told.
So that's like all of the big changes in part one, and like we're finally getting some new stuff. Then we get to part two. I want to say the part where Screen is getting like basically revived and healed. I think that was slightly extended, but it's not like I think it was more extended for like the actual like process of. I don't think his message with Phyllosaurus.
Yeah, Phyllosaurus was any bit longer. I could be wrong, but yeah.
And then we get to the beginning of part two, which actually, let me talk about these beginnings of these movies real quick. Theoretical cut. What was up with just the zoom in on ships in narration? Like, what the hell? Like, I like these beginnings a lot more, actually. They were much more engaging.
They're a lot more impactful.
So much more engaging.
I do want to say, though, I don't think either film kept the pacing as well as the opening scenes did. I felt like there was the most intensity for me in those opening scenes than there was for the rest of the film.
I can see that.
And I also want to say, though, for especially the first film, I think because both films, when I reviewed them, one of my downsides, like, I'm not in love with the pacing. I don't dislike the film, but I think they could use better pacing. Even though it's almost a 3.5 hour long movie, it felt better paced to me. Not maybe in every section of the movie, but as a majority, I liked the pace better because we got more info and it felt less cut, jump to the next thing, cut, jump to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. So,
but anyway, sorry.
Anyway, moving on to part 2, stuff like again, the new opening. I always write down the robot lady in my notes, but I know it's called the Callie. Actually, those things are called Callie. And also, interesting addition to it is the bounty hunter characters who are also introduced in the first film are watching the village as they prepare for the Mother World's return, which I didn't even think about. Oh, so that's how they know maybe as much as they did, actually.
Yeah, which, and again, why would they keep that out? Like, maybe not as many scenes, but why would they keep that out?
I don't know. And then, of course, that also cuts out Jimmy being goated still.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that now because Jimmy wasted those dudes eventually in the movie when he realized, oh, these guys are watching and they're trying to report on what the village is doing. So let me continue being Batman here, and instead of let me be Zack Snyder's Batman, let me kill some mofos.
I just want to say, this is not related to Jimmy, but just in general, we get a very big farming scene that we also complained about.
Yep,
and it gets only extended.
Yeah,
more farming, more slow-mo in both films.
But I will say this, and this is why I kind of like it more. I liked watching these characters in the village just have some time to be human together.
No, I agree with that. I felt like it definitely made more of an impact for their relationships. I mean, fucking Kara gets a fucking an older lady. Like,
damn it, you beat me to it! Because that was the biggest reaction I got out of these movies.
I thought they were just gonna be dancing and being cute, and then we get a scene of them waking up in bed together. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, that morning woke like, what the hell? Oh wait, Derek, what you doing? I literally have my note. Derek was fucking exclamation points all in caps. Look, I mean, hey, get your fuck out! I just didn't see that coming. That was hilarious to me, and I guess he likes him older.
Which I like that part of his character though. It's just kind of, especially seeing it like he at first like no I'm not gonna dance, and then finally he's like okay, and he's like okay, and he's like kind of like asked her to show him, and he's like kind of learning their dance.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see later at the banquet, then like he knows it, and people are starting to dance again because that was his partner who taught him the dance. He's like, all right, I'm gonna dance with you. They have a small little connection, and it was just like, because he's highborn, he comes initially from royalty, and then his world was taken from him, and he is what he is now. And it shows that even like he's really a humble guy. He's really down to earth, probably because of just his past and what he's lost. And I like seeing that he doesn't mind dancing with the common folk, or even betting the common folk. Like, I don't know. I liked that insight into his character because I think it's very, very sweet. And he is actually like underneath a very sweet and nice guy.
I got that vibe, honestly, the whole time from him, actually.
Yeah, agreed.
Even the littlest thing, when he received his gift from Sam, was like, I see just like the niceness under all that macho.
Yeah, or even like the playful, like almost like in a brotherly way to his sister with Cora when she come like her and oh shoot, what's his face? Is it Hagen?
Or boyfriend or something?
Yeah, the boyfriend one. Shoot, what's his name?
God, what the hell is his name?
What
the hell is his name, actually? Hold on a sec.
I'm finding it. Hold on.
Gunnar? The second dude she was fucking?
Oh, yeah, Gunnar.
Yep, Gunnar.
I like when they show up late from their, like, meeting to start
Mm-hmm.
preparing, like starting the farming. And he's like, sorry, we're late. And he like gives her the look, and she's like, don't say anything. Like he's also
Oh
like
yeah.
fun. He's fun and he's playful. Like I think Kara, like what's the actor's name off the top of my head? I just saw it. What is it? What is it? Where is it?
Stars Nair.
Yeah, Stas Nair. Honestly, what a great actor. I think he played this role for Tarek so freaking well. And I don't know. I just
Oh, this is the scene.
I loved getting additional scenes for him and getting to
Mm.
see what I already kind of knew about his character, but really getting to see that part of him shine.
Oh, again, my favorite character. He just drew to me. He's just drawn. But also, a lot of other characters do get a little bit more shine, I would say. I mean, not a lot, but some too do get some more shine. I like seeing more of General Titus. I like what's her face. Oh God, what is her name? I
Which
don't think
one?
I'm looking her up. It's the. Hang on, I'm looking. Not you, not you. Milius, the rebel fighter, actually, who was also part of the team. I like a couple of
Oh,
her little scenes as well. Actually, it's like they don't have to have the most extended scenes of like character, but sometimes the little stuff just like I like seeing that. Actually, there's a interaction she has with the old man of the village, who's like, you did really good with farming. Like, I came from a world like this. What became of it? Like the thing I'm trying to prevent happening to you guys. I actually like that little interaction as well. Uh, Even more adorableness with Eris and Sam actually, where they have a little scene on the roof where it's like, hey, when this is over, you want to just stay here, just hang here. I'm like, oh, it's so cute,
I
and all
agree.
this adultery fucking, you just got the most wholesome romance going on here as well.
I do want to say before we like get too far away from it, because I was
Mhm.
coughing and dying. Um, I also love Millis. Millis's character development in the second film with these additional like moments we get with her are so much better than the original part two. Only because
Yeah.
like I did like Millis, and Millis you can tell ends up becoming like she. You get the whole scene of like, oh, you know, it kind of like she's trying to live up to Darian and like the
Mm-hmm.
command that he did, but at the same time like you don't have to live up to him. You just need to be you. And it's really sweet getting to really see who she is because
Mm-hmm.
you don't get that, and you don't really understand like her character and who like you, not at least in a full like rounded aspect. So I really liked that character development that Millis definitely did not get in the original cut.
So the little stuff actually, I
Hmm.
like all the little character interactions. The one I just forgot about is just a little humorous moment between Tarek and Titus actually, where uh, they realize Titus hasn't been drinking alcohol, and he's like, and Tarek's like, wait, really? Oh my god, he's drinking water. I'll be damned. I don't know. I just found that humorous actually. Even a little,
I
there's a
agree.
couple of little things with Nemesis as well, actually bonding with the village children actually.
Yeah, and we see her bonding in the original,
Mm-hmm.
but this bond feels so much more real
Mm-hmm.
with these additional scenes.
Just the little stuff. Just the little things, actually. That's actually my favorite thing about some of these, just the littler things, actually.
I agree
Because
with you. It's not
for
like the
for
big stuff, the tiny little nuances that we get from them.
I was gonna say, hell, even there's a new scene between Zenyatta. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm gonna call him that all the time. Zenyatta and Korra when he reveals, hey, these guys were watching you. You
Mm-hmm.
are in trouble. So I was like, okay, I like that little addition as well.
Yep.
And I can't because I think at some point I just kind of started watching the movie again actually, so I stopped writing some notes down because then I don't remember if there's a lot of differences in the actual like final battle, considering other than more graphic violence and stuff like that,
Not
except for
anything that
one,
stood out to me.
except for actually two things because this actually bothered me about Korra. Where she, because in the original, she was considering no Atticus' offer of like, "Hey, come with me. I'll let them all live." And then Gunnar was like, no. So he initiates. But in the extended version, she literally acts like, why did you stop me? And he's like, dude, he was lying to you. Like, you worked for the Motherworld. Like, come on. That dude has no honor. He really doesn't. He would have killed everyone regardless.
Yeah.
Considering we know that too after we saw the beginning of the first film.
And I like that we got that added little dialogue because initially the feeling of it is more, no, I'm in love with you. I'm not going to let him take you. Where now it's like, I'm in love with you, but also you're being blinded by your emotions.
Yeah.
Like someone had to be your reason and had to force you into your reason.
Also, wait, there was, I forgot, because this was also, there was more backstory on what happened to the king and queen, actually. So there was more extended version of that death.
Yes, there was.
And of course, last thing I want to talk about, the other extended thing that I remember was the Callie scene where when she plants the bombs and she actually has that moment with it.
Oh,
So cool.
I love that because I don't understand. I'm so angry that scene wasn't in the original because literally she says to Korra, I forgive you like Lisa did to you, like Princess Lisa did, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I will die now, but I know you are the one who will wake the rest of my kind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will get my vengeance. Like, that is huge foreshadowing and plot for part 3. Why would that not be in there?
I don't know, man. It's like every time Zack has an extended cut,
And
important things are gone.
you think about it, and then if you think back to that painting that we see her looking at in her like backstory of like you see the princess, like a princess from that, that legend that was told with these crazy big beings behind her. That's all that, and that should be now with these all additional connected info. That painting alone is foreshadowing for what's to come for the universe of Rebel Moon. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. And I also like that there's like, because the trailer unfortunately tricked me. Like, oh, I thought that thing was actually gonna come to life for a sec, but no, it's just a mental thing actually. But it was still cool.
Yeah, I still loved it. Like, I can't wait to see them actually come to life.
These things were the Callie, they're fascinating. That I'm like, ooh,
they are cool. Awesome.
And I think they're all female too, because because I have the scene up right now. Like, you awake my sisters.
Yeah. That's what she says.
So I'm like, okay, that's also badass as well. So I gotta say,
it's probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire part 2.
Probably so. We also have an extended ending as well, where we see Belisarius just looking over a huge crowd and everything like that. So I guess it's just something, but I guess not too deep to talk about. I suppose just him being.
I also Belisarius. It could be just because it's been too long, but did we learn in the original cut that the princess was still alive?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I couldn't remember that. Or if
yep, that was still a thing.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean that's all the stuff I remember difference-wise that we're willing to talk about as well. And I guess now we come down to how does this affect the movie as a whole and everything like that, and how it affects our opinion of Rebel Moon.
So both films, I think, pace better than the originals did. I think I still wish we got even more character development, but I do think we got way better character development and character insight than we did in the initial versions. I think like not necessarily world building, but a little bit of world building, if you will. Like we got a little bit more of that, which I think is needed for such a obviously very diverse and an interesting world.
There it is.
I'm looking at my old ratings and I'm trying to figure out what I would rate these.
I feel like I might have it down to what I might rate these now, because I welcome all the little character moments, because that's the biggest thing I wanted initially was just more character moments. And I kind of got more with different looks at the world and stuff like that. Extended looks at the planets they were on. Extended looks at the violence that the mother world bringing in, and maybe just a little random stuff that like doesn't have an explanation, but it's kind of cool, which I think is the definition of Zack Snyder. And like I never really hated these movies. Like it's rather simple, and like not everything has to be completely deep and it's like I was gonna say fucking like
whimsical or something.
I suppose, yeah. Like sometimes things can have a simple premise and just have a different skin over it and stuff like that. It's
that's kind of like why I like Avatar. Like Avatar's overarching storyline is simple, but I absolutely love it because the world's fascinating, the characters are fascinating.
Exactly. So yeah. Um,
What would you rate them if since you're I told him before we started, guys. I'm like I'm still trying to figure out my ratings because
see,
they're hard to point them because I'm still not in love with these films, but I do like them better than I did.
yeah, I feel like beforehand I was like in the mindset of like if Rebel Moon made more stuff, I probably would check it out. But now I'm like, okay, it's like I would, but maybe I wasn't excited to. But now it's like, okay, I actually
Now I'm
genuinely
intrigued too.
want to.
Yeah, yeah.
So initially I said so part one, originally called Chalice of Fire, now called Chalice of Blood. So strictly Rebel Moon Chalice of Blood goes from a 6.5 to I'm going to say solid. Oh, wait a minute, because I gotta think. Because I feel like both of these films have the same rating for me, actually.
That's fair.
Although I can't fully confirm because I will admit I like the second one a little bit more. I think what I like more about the second one is that because we stood in one location more rather than jumping to planet, which kind of feels a little all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But you still get the idea of like, okay, we're looking for warriors, stuff like that. And I guess when you really think about it, one of the criticisms we had is that we were saying that Rebel Moon maybe should have been a series rather than a couple of movies. And while some of their individual scenes are still interesting and cool, I guess they're still not 100% needed. So I guess that does kind of still drag it down a tad bit. So I'm going to say now, Chalice of Blood might be a 7.5. And Curse of Forgiveness, I'm going to say...
And that was originally a 6.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to also give it a 7.5. They both get 7.5s because I still have my issues. They're not perfect, nothing like that, but I think they're better. And I would definitely watch the director's cut over the OG any day now. And it makes me want more. So I got to be honest with my reviews. Like, hey, I got issues, but I actually like them. I couldn't give them an 8. I could not say 8. So they're both going to get 7.5s for me.
So I feel the same way as you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do like part 2 better than part 1. So I, however, am going to give part 2 a slightly higher rating than I'm going to give part 1.
Okay.
I think my official ratings for them, my part 1 originally being a 7, I'm going to now make it a 7.5.
Okay.
My part 2 was initially a 6. I liked it a lot more than the original part 2, and I like it quite a bit more than part 1's director's cut. And I'm not trying to match you. I'm just going off of the numbers I have. I'm also going to make it a 7.5.
Okay.
Because that's just what feels right from like my enjoyment level of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy it well, like more. I think we got even more like those subtle nuances between the characters that I absolutely love and adore in part 2 than I do in part 1, though we do get them in part 1. Part 1 was just more about building the army and building the people that we're having within it, where part 2 is more we have these people, now we need to build upon them and what they're doing in their preparation.
Mm-hmm.
So both are at a 7.5 for me as well, going off of my previous ratings and how I feel about the director cuts.
So, okay, we are on the same boat here.
We are, unexpectedly. I mean, I guess not unexpectedly, because we're really close, if not the exact same, with our previous ratings.
Yeah, I feel like me and you have such a similar mindset of like what we like and don't like.
Yep.
And stuff like I swear to God, me, you, and Rob, officially the biggest fans of Rebel Moon. We've got to be. We have got to be. Let's start the Rebel Moon fan club. Let's get others to join our cause.
Oh, wait, honey. Stop it.
Also, I do have something hilarious to think about too.
Oh, what's that?
Even the R-rated director's cut still isn't fully director's cut because I heard initially these films could have gotten NC-17 actually, but they still had to trim some stuff off.
I want it.
You know what? Don't even say that. We are not putting that in the world. We'll know Zack will push for it. You know what? We'll just relate. Okay.
That you know what we get with then.
Well, oh god, more head tentacles.
We would see the tentacle going up his butt for sure.
Probably. Oh man, that's just hilarious. That even this isn't fully what Zack wanted to a degree. I think this is okay. Zach, if you got another cut out there that's even worse than this, if there are no new scenes, honestly, don't even think about it.
No,
We don't
100.
care.
I 100% agree with that. Absolutely. Well, anything else you want to say before we wrap up tonight's episode?
Not much. You know what? Ramon, like, again, we got to be the biggest fans, I suppose. But
I
at
guess
least
so.
some of this, I like the new stuff we got, and we got some new character interaction. So, I guess we ended up getting what we wanted, I suppose.
Nice, nice. Well, everybody, I'm Morgan and That's Dreaded, and we are the hosts of the Wannabes podcast. Next week, just so you all know, we do have our movie already lined up, and we will have 2 special guests joining us, which we cannot wait. We're so excited for. Next week, on Wednesday, August 21st, we will be joined by none other than French Kitty, who has been on the show with us previously for Hocus Pocus, and a newcomer who you've seen in chat, Shirtless Dan. So they'll be joining us, and because they've been playing through the games together on their own personal Twitch streams, we're going to be reviewing the Borderlands movie, which I have heard some really rough shit about. It'll be a very interesting review. I know you are going in, I believe, with no Borderlands knowledge. Is that correct, Jordan?
Nope. I've barely played like 2. I forgot which one I played.
Okay, so you're basically going in with nothing. I'm going in with some minor. Ow, Owen. Sorry, Owen just bit my hand because he wants attention. Kitty has a shit ton of knowledge, like all the knowledge. Owen.
So we'll see that next week. Dan,
sorry, I had to deal with Owen. Dan knows quite a bit as well because he's been playing through the games with Kitty on their own streams, and I have a tiny little bit of knowledge. So we will have varying levels of Borderlands familiarity, which I think is great for the review and going into this movie. I am concerned. The only character from my personal standpoint of just the trailers that looks good is Jamie Lee Curtis's role, and everything else I'm terrified about. So
we'll see when we watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I have an intense dislike for Claptrap. Interesting. I know that name. That's the most Borderlands knowledge I got. That name, and I don't even think the song was necessarily for Borderlands, but the song No Place for a Hero. Is that what it's actually called?
I don't remember. I literally love that song. And I heard first. Yeah, I don't remember if that was for Borderlands or not, and I don't remember its name. But it's going to be a great time. We're super excited to have Kitty and Dan joining us, and it'll be a really fun and chaotic night in the best way possible.
Have we ever had this many people on the podcast?
Once before, and that was when we did our debate for Godzilla versus Kong.
Right. Oh, is Luke not joining for this one?
Or no, Luke might. I'm assuming Luke is.
Because we have 4 then. Oh, we're going to have 5.
Oh, no. This is the biggest show in terms of members discussing a movie yet. So, yeah. It'll be a great time. It'll be super fun.
All right, then.
Well, everybody, if you're not already, please make sure you follow. And if you also want to follow us over on socials, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching Podcast Wanna or the Wannabes Podcast. And, if you follow us there and you don't know what we're doing, you can always check there to find out when we're going live, what we're discussing, and if we have any special guests joining us, especially if there's any reason at all, any cancellations, changes, or delays due to our own schedules, which luckily doesn't happen too often. But, yeah, give us a follow over on social media as well if you can. But for now, everybody, we hope you have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And next time, don't forget the popcorn.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. You have a wonderful night, and thanks for joining. See ya.
Later.